Today we are going to study about electric flux. Any electric charge has an electric field around it. Whether it is positive or negative, it has an area or a region around it in which if we bring any other charge, it is going to experience an electric force. This region we call it as electric field. In pictorial form, this electric field is shown using the concept of lines of force. We have already studied about lines of force. So we also know that the density of these lines corresponds to the electric field strength, or we also call it as electric field intensity, which could also be called as the electric flux density. This density of lines, if the lines are more dense, that implies that the electric field is stronger. If the density is less, we say that the electric field is weak. So it depends on the number of lines per unit area. Electric flux density or electric field intensity, E, can be written as number of lines of force divided by the area enclosing the lines of force. So electric flux density, what is electric flux density? Number of lines of force divided by the area. So if we just want electric flux, what is electric flux going to be? Electric flux will be proportional to the total number of electric field lines going through a surface. So now we know what actual electric flux means. Electric flux is nothing but proportional to the number of field lines passing through a given area. Now what does this flux depend upon? Let's see what this flux depends upon. So here we see that there is an electric field. These electric lines of force are indicating an electric field. See how these lines are? These lines are parallel and equidistant. What does that imply? It implies that this is an uniform field. In this uniform field, we have considered a small area. This is the area. And now we want to find what is the flux through this area. What did we see earlier? That it is equal to or proportional to the number of lines of forces passing through the area. So how much are the number of lines passing through this area? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 lines are passing through this area. So right now I am just taking the flux equal to 5. Suppose this flux is equal to 5. Now how is this flux going to change, or what is the quantity that will change the flux? Let's see. We have changed the electric field. The area has remained the same, but I have changed the electric field. How is the electric field over here? Here the lines are closer. That means that the density is more. Here the lines are apart, indicating that the density is lesser. If the electric lines of force have low density, it means that the field is weaker. So E, electric field intensity, has reduced in this case. So how many lines are passing through this same area? I have taken the same area over here. Only 3 lines. So if E is reducing, the flux is also reducing. See, flux has become 3. So as the field has reduced, flux has also reduced. So I can say that flux depends upon electric field intensity. So phi is proportional to E. Flux is dependent on E. As E increases, flux increases. As E decreases, flux also decreases. What else? Now let's change the area and see what happens. Now the electric field is remaining the same and I have changed the area. I have increased the area. As area has increased, what will happen to the flux? Now see, the number of lines passing through the area is going to increase. So the flux has become 7. 7 lines are passing through this area. What does that tell us? It tells us that flux depends on area ds and it's proportional. If area increases, flux increases. If area decreases, flux will decrease. Now, is there any other thing that will change the flux, or flux is dependent on? Let's see. See, I have just taken the same image over here, the same electric field and the same area. Now if I just change the inclination of this area, I tilt it. Now what do you see? How many lines are passing through this area? If you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 lines are passing. In this case, it was 5. If I tilt the area, the number of lines is reducing, or the flux is reducing. The flux has now become 4. Okay. So flux also depends on the angle between the area and the electric field intensity. What do we come to know? That the flux is depending on the angle between the area and E. So let's try to see what this means. We saw that flux is depending on the direction in which area is inclined with respect to E. What does that mean? That in case of that area, the small area that we were considering, the magnitude of the area and the direction of the area, both are significant. What does this tell us? This tells us a very important thing, that area is a vector quantity. What do we understand? That area is a vector quantity. And if we have area as a vector, we should be able to show the direction of this vector quantity. How do I show the direction of this vector quantity? So if this is the area, this is the plane, the direction of this vector is shown by drawing a perpendicular to the plane of this area, and that is called as the area vector. That arrow is indicating the vector sign. So area vector is perpendicular to the plane of the area. Now see this. So this is the electric field. This is the area vector. This red line is the area vector. What is the angle between E and the area vector? The angle is 0 because they are parallel to each other. And what can you say about the flux? The flux is maximum. Maximum possible lines are passing through this area vector. So we come to know that when the theta is equal to 0, what is theta? The angle between the electric field intensity and the area vector. When that theta is 0, the flux is maximum. We have the maximum flux. Now if I rotate this area vector by 90 degrees, I rotate it by 90 degrees and I have made it along the electric field. So what has happened to the area vector? The area vector has become perpendicular to the electric field. So now we have theta is equal to 90. What do you see about the flux? Since the area has become like this, are there any lines passing through that area? No, there is no line passing through that area. So the flux is minimum. When theta is 0, flux is maximum, and when theta is equal to 90, flux is minimum. What does that remind you? It tells us that flux changes as the cos of theta. We know that cos 0 is maximum and cos 90 is minimum, that is 0. So we come to know that flux is changing as cos of theta, or I can say that the flux is proportional to cos theta. So what all we saw till now, what is flux dependent on? Flux depends upon the electric field intensity, it depends on the magnitude of the area, and it also depends upon the angle between the area vector and E. So I get the relation flux is equal to E ds cos theta. This is the flux linked with that small area ds. What is this theta? Theta is the angle between the area vector and the electric field intensity. Okay. Now this was the flux through. So I get flux is equal to E bar dot ds bar. But if a charge is enclosed in a closed surface, then what will be the total flux linked with the surface? See, this is the charge Q and it is enclosed in a closed surface. And we want to find the total flux linked with this closed surface. So what are we going to do? We will find the flux due to small surfaces and then add them all together. So phi 1 be the flux through this area, phi 2 be this, phi 3 and so on. We are just going to add it. So I get phi 1 is equal to E1 bar dot ds1 bar plus E2 bar dot ds2 bar plus E3 bar dot ds3 bar. What is E1? E1 is the electric field at this area ds1. E2 is the electric field at ds2. E3 is electric field at ds3, and so on. We consider all the areas that make up this entire closed surface. So I can write it as phi is equal to closed integral because we are adding this areas over a closed surface. It is forming a closed surface. So I can use closed integral E bar dot ds bar. So this is the expression for total flux linked with a closed surface due to a charge inside the surface.